Oh, there you
I
go. Now,
love that.
I do not know where that will be saved to at the end of this. Whether you are obviously the host, so you'll probably, I assume, receive some sort of link at the end to say where this where it's recorded to. So you'll have to follow through on that one, I'm afraid.
Yeah, no problems at all. No problems at all. Hopefully, it isn't for nefarious reasons that it's stored on the cloud, right?
I'm sure it'll be okay. I will do my best. I will do my
Oh my
best.
God. So, what do you do for a living? Tell me about the whole Matt story that we don't know about yet.
Oh, sure. So for my sins, I am in HR. So I've been in
Ooh,
HR now for God over 20 years now, 20 years plus. So I
wow.
started as an investment banker way back when. Decided I didn't like that. Did some traveling and then came back and fell into HR via recruitment. And
Mm.
I've been in HR ever since. And came to Australia with a company. I was the HR person in the UK, and they brought me over here. And so I've been doing HR, and predominantly in the last, well, I'm going to say 10 years or so, it's
Mm.
been a lot of it has involved around restructuring organizations. So I was closing down Holden, as an example,
Ah.
a restructured GE Capital to what is now Latitude Financial Services. So a lot of HR, a lot of restructuring work. Yeah, interesting area.
I I can see why you run. Be good for your mental health. I know Jim,
That is
my
exactly the
husband.
reason why.
Yeah.
It is exactly the reason I run, funnily enough.
Is that why you took it up? Because I mean, you took
It
it
is.
up when you were like, was it
It is.
32?
It is exactly why I took it up. Yeah, I was I think, just worn down emotionally from not just from obviously the restructuring, which is very emotionally draining, obviously, but also, um, look, I guess as a person, naturally, I'm
Mm.
an introvert, and of course, I'm in the exact opposite type of job where my role is to talk to people all day,
That must be
predominantly
so
about
hard.
problems.
Yeah.
But mostly it is about problems. But about I talk to people all day, so it's just for someone like myself, it's just very draining. So running was a way to recover from that, in a way, to get away from the world, get away from my phone, get away from people, and just
Get
be
into
out
your own
there,
head.
get into my own head and recover. So running
Nice.
is that's why I got into it. It was a way I was searching for something
Mm.
and stumbled into running. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Because Donuts, Jim, Jim,
Yeah, of course.
my co and husband, he's totally an introvert. And,
Mm.
it's been a constant conversation in between us. Are all long distance runners introverts? Because you spend so much time with yourself, with training and with analyzing stuff. I know I would love to be able to run. I can't do it because my knees, but I don't know whether I could do it by myself. So I can see the benefit of why people want to join a club, why people want to run in the pack,
Mm.
not only to give you that momentum, but to give you that energy of, you're talking to other people and you're connecting with other people around you. Do you think a lot of long distance runners and ultra, because you've done ultras too, haven't you?
Lots of
Yeah.
ultras. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that they're all introverts as well, or majority are?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. Is the honest answer. Genuinely, we're all attracted to it for different reasons, I think. I as someone who does ultra running, I think you have to get used to being on your own. Whether that means you're attracted to the sport because you're an introvert by nature, I honestly don't know. It's a very good question. Look, running is a very social sport in many ways. There's so many groups out there, lots of people run together. Obviously helps in training if you're running in a group, etc. That you could make the opposite argument, that an extrovert would be drawn to running. So honest answer is I genuinely don't know. What I would say is if you are prepared to do ultras, as in the really long stuff, you
Mm.
definitely have to get used to being on your own and being inside your own head, which would, I guess, naturally be preferable for an introvert? Yeah, good
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
Yeah, good question.
So let's talk numbers. How many
Mm.
marathons have you done?
Yeah, also a good question. Because I personally, and I always think running is just for yourself, right?
Okay.
Nobody else really cares what you've done or what times you've done, or they shouldn't care because it's something you're doing for you and for
But
yourself.
but we know you and we know that you've got so much information up here. and in
Mm,
here, and you just other people that are starting on their journey or that are struggling and hitting that wall, they
mm,
can benefit from what you're saying
hmm
and what your experience is. And that's why I really wanted to talk to you because I mean you really do lead with your heart. And that's something that really instantly gravitated us towards you.
That's
Not
very kind.
only, yeah. So we're talking over 200, aren't we, as far as
Yeah,
marathons?
265 in terms of marathons. If
Ah,
you were including ultra marathons, obviously, which of course I do.
okay. So
And
you've
maybe
done Cameroon?
the 100 marathon club doesn't consider them to be marathons, which is fine. That's their thing. For them, only 42.195 counts. I get that. But I count ultra marathons as a marathon as well, and I even count the marathon at the end of the Ironman as a marathon as well in that number.
Okay, so you're saying you do a full marathon, sorry, you do a full Ironman and then you do a marathon afterwards.
Well, no, the Ironman as an event includes the marathon at
Oh,
the
yes,
end.
yes, yes, yeah.
So I count that one also as a marathon. Even
Okay.
though, yeah,
Oh,
again, if you were to talk to the organizers of the 100 Marathon Club, they probably wouldn't include it as a marathon.
yeah, yeah. So the warm-up parts are at the beginning and then you do the marathon. Yeah, I
Ah,
get
look,
that.
cycling's barely a sport. You sit down for cycling, that doesn't count. And swimming, you're lying down, that doesn't count either. So
Being,
yes, they're a warm up for
being
the real
nurtured by
sport at
the
the end.
water as well. It's a bit like a jacuzzi, really.
They don't count as sports. I
I
didn't for
won't take
anybody.
that.
No, I don't care.
I
I'm
love
only joking.
cycling and I love
Me
swimming, but I
too. Me,
promise not to take that personally.
me too. In fact, some of the most impressive people. I did I did triathlon for a year,
Mm,
more of a tick in the box exercise than anything else, if I'm being honest. And some of the most impressive people I met were, people training or as in committed triathletes. They're very very impressive. But more around their commitment to their sport and just how they manage their time because
absolutely.
obviously you're training three sports instead of just the one with running,
Mm.
and how they were able to shape their life around their exercise, their training. I found super impressive.
Yeah, I used to work for an elite sports shoe brand. I
Mm,
won't say which one. But they they used to go to all the marathons and all the ultras and the tries as well, and they'd be there promoting and doing their thing as they do. But it was very interesting the management's philosophy on marathon versus a person that would do a triathlon. They said,
hmm
if you're going to do a marathon, all you need is a pair of shoes. And
Yeah, that's true.
you and I both know there's a lot more behind the scene than a pair of shoes, right?
There's a lot more
There's
gear on its own. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And that's what they said that, if you are a triathlete, it's a different league of commitment, of determination. Because I mean, you need
Absolutely.
the bike, you need the swimming, you need the wetsuit, you need the blah 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 blah.
Mm.
And the level and the training days and your taper days look completely different from what they do as
It's a
far as
huge
marathon.
commitment. As it's genuinely in terms of expense, obviously.
Yeah.
The bike's expensive, etc. The actual events themselves are very expensive. The time commitment I found so during that
Mm.
period where I was doing triathlon, I just felt your weekends were just gone, right? As a result of doing even if you're just doing a bike run brick, so you're riding for a period and getting off and running. I mean that kills your day because it's a long period of time, and of course you're completely knackered after it as well. So you have to have to recover. So I take my hat off to them. It's a huge commitment.
Okay, so as far as running goes,
That's as many props as I'm going to give triathletes, by the way. It's all about running from here on in.
that's okay. We'll stick with running because that's what we're all about.
The real
Uh,
sport.
so as far as running's concerned and your mentality, if you're leading up to like the Melbourne Marathon's coming up, what in 12 weeks' time,
Yep.
what's your training and preparation look like leading up to that event?
Yeah, it's changed over the years, if I'm being honest. So I used to be extremely focused on a particular event, or I would obviously have a training plan that led up to that. And I would maybe be, particularly when I was going for aiming for the sub 3 marathon, I would actually have a very targeted training plan that was leading up to the race. Nowadays, because I've done so many, and because I've hit all the targets I've wanted to hit, I take it a lot more relaxed. I mean, I
Mm,
certainly don't get worried about it. And I don't really taper or think, not really. All of the things I would actually recommend to new runners, I
mhm.
don't really do anymore, but that's more because of where I am in my running journey than anything else. So now I just run for fun and go out and run lots of kilometers, regardless of what's coming. Because mostly there's an event every month. Some
Yeah,
marathon every month. So as a result, I just do lots of Ks,
yeah.
which I enjoy doing, and not as many Ks as I used to. I mean, I used to do 150, 200 Ks a week. Now it's maybe down
Oh,
in a more normal level of about 100, 110 a week, because I mix it up with cycling.
so
Um,
you do 20 a day over 5 days, or is it like you have a taper day where you ease off, a
even
rest day?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say I have a rest day. I think just one morning I'll get up and think, oh, I can't be bothered today for whatever reason, and that will be a rest morning rather than the rest day. I'll do something during the day for sure, whether it's running or cycling or something else. I'll do something. But yeah, I just don't follow quite. I'm not as strict as I used to be with a plan. And if I was talking to a brand new runner or someone who's maybe done a half marathon and they're planning for their first marathon or ultra, and I would suggest, having a plan and a focus, etc. I just don't have that anymore. But that's purely because I think I've done so many of them, and I'm
Mm,
so used to knowing what to do or where my body's at or where I've got issues or where I need to hold back or push harder.
mm,
Plus, I'm not actually aiming for particular times anymore. It's all about enjoyment these days. So my only goal when being at the start line for any race is to just enjoy the day, and that's a very different mindset, I think, to when you're aiming for a sub 4 or a sub 3:30 or sub 3 or whatever the case may be. So
mm.
it's just a different mindset these days.
So when we first met, and we go back to Port Fairy, the thing that really struck me, because I was standing at that central point that you ran past me a few times and then it was on the home stretch as well. And the thing that really struck me is that you are really just so calm and you just love it. I mean, it was like talking to somebody who hadn't even run more than 50 meters in my mind, that you weren't puffed, you weren't fatigued, you didn't come across like you were struggling in any way. I know that's partly the
I'm
training,
always struggling
but
by inside.
screaming.
It's the very English. I don't want to be seen to be trying. There's a very English attitude about you. You can never be seen to be taking things seriously. So you always have to put on that face as if you're not really struggling internally
I tell you,
when everything is hurting.
so when everything's screaming, I can tell you from the outset, it looked elegant.
Oh,
You're
there
going
you go.
past, you're like,
It's years of practice.
ah, it's nothing. I'm just here doing my thing. And the little group of people that were with you, because I mean, you were pacing at the time, right?
I was, yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember what pace you were doing?
Yeah, that day was 350. So
Okay.
that's
Is
go
that
on,
like
sorry.
a normal pace for you?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that your
comfortable.
comfortable pace?
It's very comfortable. Yeah, I would say
Okay.
in terms of pacing, and when you say pacing, it means that it's for you. Number one, it's a relatively comfortable pace, and that you're able to talk with other people that are around you, that you're able to give tips and advice and motivation, etc. So, in order to be able to do all of those things and to not be thinking about how much everything in your body is hurting, then the pace needs to be relatively comfortable. I say relatively comfortable.
Mhm.
So, I think anything around 3:30 to 4 hours is probably that sweet spot in terms of pacing. And when you're in that spot where it's just really enjoyable for you, you do look relatively relaxed, I think. And plus, of course, because you're talking to other people around you, or you're predominantly thinking about them and
Mm.
thinking about their race and their goal and getting them over the line, you're not thinking so much about how much it's hurting. You just have something taking your mind off it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pacing is a huge. I mean, I mean, it's it makes it easier for the pacer because you have other things to think about. And of course,
Yeah.
we all know that certainly when it gets towards the end of a marathon, it's mostly in your head anyway. So actually having that distraction helps you, I think, in a lot
I
of ways.
was I was listening to a woman who was running a half. I'm going to sidetrack here. This woman was running a half and she missed the turnaround point.
Mm.
And
This was at Port Fairy or somewhere
no,
else?
no, it
Okay.
was I think it was somewhere over in America, and
Mm.
she was running and she was only going to do like I think it was 10 kilometers or a half. And when I say that only, my hat's off to them.
Mm.
But she was doing that and she missed the turnaround point and she accidentally joined the full mara. Yeah, okay. So
I mean, that's
I'm
a
like,
baptism of fire.
oh, my heart immediately went out to her because I would have gone, oh my, yeah, that's it, I'm out. But the pacer that she was with made all the difference in the world because he just kept encouraging her and going, well, I'm sorry, but you missed your turnaround point. You can stop if you want to, or you can stick with us and really push yourself and make that distance. And she actually got all the way through.
Wow.
And it was just like
Wow.
she'd only trained for a much shorter distance. So, I mean, what you're doing as a pacer is not to be underrated because you are really that positive angel sitting on their shoulder, right? Saying,
Oh,
offering
they can
those
help
words of
for sure.
encouragement.
A
Yeah.
pacer can definitely, and I would say to any new marathon runner that's been through their block of training and has a realistic idea of what they can achieve in the race without being overly ambitious. And by the way, my advice in the first marathon is not to worry too much about the time. It's just to enjoy it and finish.
Mhm.
But I would also say, absolutely, for your first marathon, just sit in a pace group. Let them do all the thinking for you. It makes a huge difference. And for me, when I ran my PB, I ran because I'm not a very good runner at all. But when I
I'll
ran my
disagree
PB,
with that, but
well, I run a
yeah.
lot. I would say I run a lot. I don't think I run well, but I certainly run a lot. That I can agree with. My PB was sitting in a pace group as well. And it made all of the difference because I was already hurting at the 10K mark. And I thought, oh, I'm never going to finish this. There's no chance I'm going to finish this. I'm never going to do this. And so those things are going through, even if you've done lots of those things go through your head anyway. But the pacer got me over the line.
What did the pacer say to you that got you over the line?
He was just talking, he was genuinely just talking, trying to keep you motivated, keeping us up to date with where we were in the race, what the pace was. I mean, I'd done enough marathons at that point that I didn't necessarily need let's call it the tips and tricks, but it was really just, again, taking your mind off it. It made a huge difference on the day. I genuinely think I would not have run my PB without the pacer.
So
In fact, I'm convinced of it.
you think without that one person, that one pacer
Hmm.
being there and giving you that advice, you wouldn't be here today talking to me because you
Oh,
wouldn't have continued with it? Or do you think
no,
that you
I
just
definitely, yeah. Running for me, running is never about the goals. Particularly, I just love running. Right? For me, is always about enjoyment and mental health. I'm not saying that necessarily, but I definitely wouldn't. So I ran a sub 3, and I
it's
definitely wouldn't
impressive.
have run the sub 3 without the pacer for sure.
So you've run a lot of Abbots, right? So you've done the majors.
Not
Not all of them.
not all. I'm not the biggest fan of the US, I'll be honest. So the thought of
That's okay.
spending all that money, despite I've been to the US lots of times, so it's sort of contradictory. But the idea of going and doing New York and Chicago have never really appealed to me that much. So I've never done that. I have done Boston because it's Boston,
It's Boston.
and that's fair
It's on
enough.
everyone's list.
It is on and should be on everyone's list. Unfortunately, I did the bomb year, so that was an
Oh
interesting
wow,
experience.
that would have been a terrible experience to live through.
It was certainly a strange experience to be there.
Were you towards where the bombing happened when
I'd
it went
finished. I
off?
was quick enough to have finished. No, I'd
Oh,
finished, and we'd just left the street when it went off, and
oh, that's
so
scary. That's
yeah. So
such a
well, we were closed. We
tragic
were locked
day.
up. Yeah, it was a very strange day. We weren't directly impacted, other than we were confined to the hotel for the rest of the trip. But we didn't see anything or didn't really feel any fear, if I can put it like that. Other than the fact you see a lot of people running around with guns, which for a non-American is scary, of course.
Of course.
Um, Obviously, also doesn't help my opinion of the the US necessarily.
I'll agree with
Um,
you there.
Yeah, but I've only done Boston, Berlin, and Tokyo. I think Tokyo is, in terms of marathon, not necessarily event, but in terms of marathon, for me, Tokyo is the best event I've ever, best marathon I've ever done. I've done that quite a few times, but haven't done the others. I know Sydney is an Abbott's World Major now. I've
It
done
definitely
Sydney
is
lots of times, but not since it's been
a
a major.
major. Are you going to be doing the next one? Are you going to try and get in?
Yeah, I've done it so many times. I've done it quite a few times, and I'm always interested in trying a different one.
Okay. So
And
where's next? Where's next on your list?
I mean, there's always lots coming up. You know, the Yang. I really like the Trails Plus trail events,
Yes,
the
the ultra trails.
ultra
Yep.
trails
Yep.
in Victoria, run by Brett Saxon. I think they're super events. He's got,
He's
I
an
don't know,
amazing
12.
guy.
He's a great guy. He's a really great guy.
Mm.
12, 13, 14 events. So one of the in the Yangs that he does every July is coming up. I'll do that. Then there's Wangaratta or no, I think Shepparton coming up.
Shepparton's coming
There's
up
always a list. Melbourne's
August.
coming up. There's Sri Chinmoy Tan is coming up. Then obviously, as you talked about before, Run for the Young is coming up.
Definitely.
There's
We'll be back there.
there is a great event as I really like that one as well. So there are so many. Well, look, we're very lucky in Victoria or in Australia in general.
Hmm.
There are so many great events that you can take part in that you probably don't know about if you're either a non-runner or not deep into the subculture. But we've got lots and lots. So there's always events coming up.
That's fantastic. So, what was it like running in Japan? So, you've done Tokyo. Did you do
Incredible.
Osaka or Kyoto or any of the others while you
I
were there?
went to Nagoya to see the ladies marathon, but the only
Ooh,
event I've run in Japan is Tokyo, which I've done a few times. But I've also joined Japanese running groups. So I've got some friends who live in Japan. So I've
nice.
joined some of their running groups. They love ultra running and running, well, long distance running in general, marathon running, long distance running. In fact, their most watched TV program in Japan, strangely enough, is something called the Ekiden, which is a
Really?
200K college relay event. Each person running 20Ks,
Wow.
which, yeah, I mean, even for someone like myself who loves running, even I think, Christ, that's a lot of running to watch. That must be boring. But it's their most watched event. They love running. So from the time you arrive at in Tokyo, in Narita, or I've forgotten the other airport in Tokyo, I mean, the people at customs are asking you if you're there for the race, even with they don't really speak fantastic English, but they're asking you if you're here for the marathon. And then the way it's the best organized event that I've ever been to, even compared to Boston and Berlin, and it's probably the best supported, one of the best supported events. The things they do for you before, the things they do for you after the event, the atmosphere on the day, it's pretty special. So I think if you're a marathon runner and you only ever want to do one overseas or destination marathon, I'd certainly consider it. I'd certainly
Mm.
recommend it. It's difficult to get into, like they all the marathon
Yep.
majors are, but it's a pretty special event for sure.
Jim has missed out 3 years in a row to get
It's
into it,
difficult.
and same with Osaka.
Yeah,
And
it's
he's
difficult.
just waiting for the opportunity to go. And I know that Japan is one of the biggest running nations
They
per
love
capita
it.
in the world. Yeah, I know, right? It's just everyone.
Yeah,
I
I
was
don't know what it
speaking,
is.
apparently it's in school.
Okay.
That's the sport that they do in winter is
Oh, that's maybe
go
why the
on,
Ekiden is so popular because it's essentially a college
possibly.
relay event, but it's just televised.
Mm. It's an amazing country and it's amazing culture as far as running is concerned.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
we're dying to go over again and get into it. Okay, so let's do a quick fire round. I've
Sure.
I've got a whole heap of little questions for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Just bear with me because
The
it's
quick
going to
fire
a
round.
quick
Okay. Here we
fire
go.
round.
I'm on edge already.
Okay. So you should be. Favorite carbs?
Oh, pasta, carbonara for sure.
Okay, so
As in pre-race,
night before,
definitely.
not on the race day?
For an ultra in the morning, sometimes I like to go into the race full stomach.
Hmm.
Then yes, in the morning. And strangely, my first ever 100K, I had carbonara sandwiches as part of my fueling strategy. Not
I'm sorry,
something I would
that does not
recommend.
sound good.
Well, it was just a way to be able to hold and consume whilst running. Not something I would recommend to other people necessarily.
Just a minute
Um,
while I get this out.
yeah, I was relatively naive back in those days, in terms of fueling, etc. But yeah, so definitely pasta carbonara.
Okay. Well, while we're on mid-race fueling, what do you do for maintaining your energy mid-race?
Again, it depends on the race. If it's sorry, I apologize. I don't mean to say just a marathon. If it's a marathon, then just gels. I would just
Okay. Do
use,
you have a preference?
I just use the cheapest ones in Woolies. So they sell the winners ones, which I think were the Cadell Evans brand
I
back
was
back in the day.
expecting you to say something like a Morton's or a
Oh, I
Sif.
do love the Mawsons. They're
Yeah.
super easy to. They're really easy to consume, and
Mm.
if you know if I had unlimited funds, I would probably go for those, but they're quite expensive.
We'll look for a
Um,
sponsor for you, Matt.
Pardon?
We'll look for a sponsor for
Sure,
you.
sure. But look, I think I mean, all carbs effectively do the same thing. They're all glucose, and so I think, yeah, whatever works, and whatever doesn't make your stomach upset. So yeah, the
Yeah.
winners are fine. But yeah, absolutely, Morton's are great gels as well. Oh, I
Okay.
think every long distance runner and every ultra runner certainly has had their moments where, yeah,
Character building. Character building, Matt.
yeah, it certainly can be. It certainly can be. That's for sure. Yeah. No, I would also say to certainly to any new runner, don't go into an event using a gel that you've never used before, because
Mm.
again, they all do the same thing by and large, but it's just not worth the risk. So
Okay.
you should,
Sorry, no.
yeah,
Continue, please.
you should always test the things you're going to use on race day, particularly for your first marathon. You should always use stuff that you've tested during your long runs,
Good
for
point.
sure.
But that applies to all your gear as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
So
I mean,
don't try
back
any new
back
gear
when
on.
I started, I made all these mistakes. I would wear socks, brand new socks I'd never used in training, and I would use them on race. Even when I did my Ironman, funnily enough, I used brand new socks that caused me lots of blisters and problems. So, yeah, I've learnt by trial and error mostly, but come to the same conclusions that all the experts and come to. But yeah, I would never recommend anybody using anything brand new or anything that hadn't well tested on race day. It's just
Mm.
a recipe for nipple
Disaster.
chafing or chafing somewhere else or blisters or bad stomach or those diarrhea moments. It's just we've all been there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's part of the sport. Definitely not the pretty side of sport, but it's the most important, I think. Getting the building blocks right and getting a stable base that you know where you are and you know how your body's going to perform.
Well, you've got so much else to worry about and think about on race day, and so much else going through your head. You just don't need that extra aggravation of my stomach is starting to feel bad, or you're putting something in your mouth that you've not tried before and you're worrying about it, or you've got some chafing somewhere, or your shirt's a bit of annoying, or and all those little things, they build up when you're getting into kilometer 30, 35. I mean, those things become a real problem. So
Mm.
anything that you can do to mitigate those sorts of situations, I think you should.
So, as you know, we're all about nipple chafing and
Hmm.
eliminating it for everyone, right? And that's where you're helping us so much with NipStyx. You're test running our prototypes for
Hmm.
trying to find a better solution for everyone, which isn't going to rip out hair, that's going to be comfortable, that's going to stay on with sweat. What were you using pre us for nipple chafing?
Yeah, so all good questions. So I predominantly I've had two different approaches over the
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and again, because every long distance runner has had their nipple chafing story or experience,
Mm.
I have gone with, firstly, I used to go with Vaseline, so quite a large amount of
Mm.
Vaseline on each nipple, and also in any areas of potential chafing.
Okay.
But that has destroyed more running tops than I
Really?
care. Yeah, it just destroys them.
In
Yeah,
what way?
well, you just have these.
Oily
dark
marks.
dark stains on
Yeah.
your running tops, even if you have a black running top or a dark running top. I mean, it's very visible from the first time you do it, and certainly as you have to do it basically on every long run or even every decent sized run, your tops get destroyed or quite frequently. So I eventually gave up that and then went to just normal band-aids.
Hmm.
First of all, they last about 5 minutes. If you've got any sort of hair on your chest or if you sweat at all, they drop off
Oh,
very quickly.
waxing.
Hmm?
Waxing. Yeah. Home waxing. It's
Well, I
so
mean, you
good.
could wax your. Well, I don't fancy that either.
No,
So
no,
that
but
was
I mean
never.
the band-aids when you rip it off. It's worse than home
Oh,
wax.
it's well. In order, it's strange that you've got two options with band-aids. You buy an ordinary band-aid that doesn't stay on, or you
Hmm.
buy that what they call the heavy-duty band-aids, which
Yes.
do stay on. But when you get them on, I mean, they take. Oh, it's agony. It's
Mm.
absolutely. So I've when I was doing long runs or where I really needed some real protection, I've gone with the heavy-duty band-aids, but it's either been extremely painful to get off or it's been hard to get off at all, or I've had to cut it off, as in cut the
Oh,
hair.
really? Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
wow. Okay.
absolutely.
Well, at least you're not
Yeah.
cutting the skin.
Well, no, I've not gone to that level just yet.
So we've tried the waterproof band-aids and they hold the moisture in.
Mm,
So that actually pulls it off like it does with normal band-aids. And
mm,
with the fabric ones, as you say, it's that whole super grip. It's like physio tape. And I know some guys use the physio tape, but gee, I tell you what, it's hard on the skin. Okay, so you're talking about t-shirts. Do you have a favorite race t-shirt?
Not really. Yeah, not really.
Okay,
I wouldn't say I was a huge gear person. I know
okay,
lots of people love their tech and love their gear, which look, I'm all for it if people love
okay.
that. Just something that's comfortable. I mean, it has to be a running shirt for
Yeah,
sure.
of course, of
I mean, the
course.
last thing I would tell someone to run in is a cotton t-shirt. I
Oh
mean,
my
you are
goodness.
destined to have chafing and issues with that. So it has to be a lightweight, proper running shirt,
Mm.
and something that isn't too bouncy when it gets sweaty. So something that wicks well. But I don't have any brand preference particularly. I'm not, a massive brand person in
Mm.
general.
Do you have a shoe brand? Speaking of brands.
I lean towards Adidas.
Hmm.
So I love the Adios range and I love their Pro, their carbon range at all. I think just they're really good shoes. Over the years, I mean, I used to always have 15 plus pairs on the go and rotate all the time.
Interesting.
And
You've preempted a whole line of questioning there.
oh yeah, I'm very much a shoe person. I hate to think how much I've spent on running shoes after the years, and I would get through a pair of shoes, maybe let's say 600 Ks or 800 Ks, etc. And of course, if you're doing 150, 200 pairs Ks a week, you're getting
It
through
goes
those
through
shoes
it.
relatively quickly, which is why rotation really helps. But I've tried lots of brands. I did Hoka's for a long time. I was into Asics for a long time, but I just find, yeah, I really like the Adidas. I think they make really good
They
shoes.
suit
I've
you
tried.
for where you
Sorry.
they suit you for where you are at the moment. That's the main
Yeah,
thing.
there's just a really good, and of course, depending on what you're doing, whether it's just your standard training,
Mm,
whether it's a race, you would obviously have different shoes, etc. But
mm,
yeah, they're just a very good shoe. I'm starting to try some of the Chinese brands, the X Step and the Li Ning,
mm.
which also come across as a really good shoes so far, at least, and they're much cheaper, of course, as well.
That always helps with the rotation. I
Well, if
remember
you're buying 15 pairs of shoes, it certainly helps. Yeah.
I remember when Jim and I first started going out, he looked at my shoe collection and went, "You're not getting any more shoes." Nightclub rules. Nightclub rules. One in, one out.
There's no limit on shoes, I
And
think.
I cried. I cried because it's like I can't get rid of these shoes. So now he's gotten to that stage where
Well,
he's
it's the
got,
one thing I think you can, as a runner, you can collect, or can because the shorts and the tops and yeah, but the shoes. I think the
They're
shoes are something you
useful.
can really get into.
It's so, so important, I think, to look after your feet
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
the feet look after the knees, that look after the hips, that look after your back and your neck, and then, the rest of your body too. If you look after your feet and they're supported and cushioned, and though Strava tells you when your shoes have run out by how many kilometers you've run, I think it's an investment that is vital for all people that are serious about their running and about their health,
Oh,
to
you
feel
have to
better the
find the
whole
shoes that
body.
fit. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That fit your feet, particularly. I don't think there's any one brand that I should or could recommend to anyone. You have to find the ones that fit your particular feet.
Mm.
But yeah, it's so important to get the shoes that actually support you,
Mm.
and also to I think it's important to rotate as well.
Mm. So, how many shoes are in your rotation?
Now it's not because I'm not doing quite as much running as I used to, and because I actually do quite a bit on the treadmill as well. It's not
Mm.
as much, so there's probably I'm looking about 7 or 8 pairs these days, which is not,
That's
which still
reasonable.
sounds like a reasonable amount, but again, it's probably half of what I used to have in the rotation.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't think that's unreasonable at all. I think that's actually a really, different shoe for each day, and each one would support your foot in a different way.
It's
So
also for
your foot
different
can.
types of runs as well, and it's also
Mm.
good to give them a break, I think. I don't know if that's true, if there's any science behind that statement. I just like to let them recover. So I think in letting them recover or not using the same pair every day, they just seem to last longer. That might be confirmation bias, but it
Yeah.
feels like they last longer.
I'm going to throw in something very left field here.
Hmm.
We used to have birds, and they'd say, don't have a perfectly round perch because the foot's used to being in that one position and they're going to get locked. It's going to cause them health issues. They're not going to be able to, sit on different sized branches and everything else. So to use a natural twig. And I think of that in the same way as I think about shoes. That if you have the same shoe constantly throughout the week, your feet aren't working
Mm.
as actively and staying as nimble as what they possibly can do, which particularly I presume for ultras would be very, very important as far as uneven ground and different surfaces that you're running on. You need to be able to trust your feet to do the right thing under all sorts of circumstances. So I think your rotation is actually, from my place of no knowledge,
Oh,
is
look,
actually a
I
really
think it's possible.
sensible approach.
I think it's possible. I mean, obviously, in my field in HR, I do a lot of work with ergonomics, etc. And you think about your desk position or how you sit at work, there isn't necessarily, I mean, all ergonomic specialists talk about a particular height for your screen and for your body, which is all, I think it's all relevant. But it's more the fact that you change position, that you're not
Mm,
always in one position for any sustained period of time, whether you're standing at a standing desk or then sitting down, or it's the fact that you're moving about that helps. So actually having different positions. So I think it's certainly possible that is also true of your feet.
okay. Well, that's really good information. Thank you. As far as salt and electrolyte replacement,
Mm.
what do you do? Do you have
Uh,
salt tablets or what
I
do you
do,
do?
yeah, I do. They make it, for me at least, they make a huge difference. I mean,
Hmm.
previously, before I used to take salt sticks, and I take salt sticks.
Hmm.
I also used the hammer electrolyte replacement tablets as well. So before I used those, I had cramps all the time, particularly in ultras. I had lots of cramping because I sweat heavily.
Of course.
And obviously I can see the salt
The
on
white
my
parts on your shirt after you
absolute
finish. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
absolutely,
The
which is a
salt.
sign you are a heavy sweater. I used to get quite bad cramps, so I've done Comrades 4 times, and I think
That's
three.
90 kilometers.
It's a 90K run in
Yeah,
South Africa.
that's. How long did that take you?
Yeah, I've never done well there because of the cramping actually. So they've always been around 9 hours or 10 hours, which if you
That's
look at
not
my,
shabby. That's not
I could,
shabby, Matt.
I could and should do better if you look at my training, but I've just always had very bad runs there. I've always just come a cropper. So I've either gone out too hard. I've had two 3 hour positive splits. And if you have a 3 hour positive split, that's a clear sign something's gone wrong somewhere. The wheels have fallen off. And that's mostly been due to cramping, and that was all pre salt sticks. But I went out to do Badwater, which is the race over in Death Valley in California, where the temperatures it got well over 50 degrees.
That's one of the most extreme ones in the world, isn't it?
It's pretty extreme. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty. And I should point out, I was a pacer there. I wasn't the
What?
runner. I was a pacer. Um,
What pace were you doing?
oh no, well, they don't go quickly. So I paced about
Okay.
100K. It's a 217K race through
Hmm.
Death Valley. And I paced about 100K. And it's, as I say, the coldest it got to was 42 degrees and the hottest was 54. So
Oh,
those are very extreme conditions.
how do
And
you
all,
hydrate through that?
yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and that's a longer discussion. I think it's
Okay.
that is a long discussion in and of itself, that entire experience. But all the runners there were popping salt stick capsules like Smarties and just throwing them down. They do make a big difference. So I've been using them ever since, and they make a huge difference. I haven't actually had a cramping issue since taking salt stick capsules.
That's impressive.
Mm. Yeah, they're very
That's
useful. Again, maybe confirmation bias, or it may be placebo effect. I don't know, but all I'm saying is, for me, they've been working.
they've worked for you, and that's all
Mm.
that counts.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay.
I certainly recommend salt sticks or the hammer electrolyte replacements.
Okay. That's excellent. Thank you. Um, where do you stand on ice baths?
Oh, yeah, that sounds like agony to me.
So
Um,
it's definitely a no.
that is definitely a no. I don't stretch, I don't warm up, I don't warm down, and I certainly don't plunge myself into freezing cold water.
How can you
Uh,
do marathons and ultras without doing warm-ups?
the first 10K is the warm up, I think.
Okay.
I just yeah, look, I do look at the science of some of these things. I think the science on ice baths is questionable. So if it's painful and it's questionable, then I'll try to
And you,
avoid it.
okay, so if you're not enjoying it, don't do it.
It should be fun, right? We do this for none of us
Yeah.
are elite athletes. I think if you're an elite athlete, everything's different. We do this for fun, so it should be enjoyable. That does not sound like fun to me.
I'm with you there. It's something that if it belongs in a fridge, it
Oh,
belongs in a
yeah,
glass.
yeah.
It
I'd have
doesn't.
to see some very solid evidence before I'm about to plunge myself into ice cold water.
So, what's your favorite distance to run?
Oh, the marathon. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
the
It's
full
just
mara.
and purely because it's iconic. It's that iconic distance. It means something to a lot of people. Even if you're a non-runner, you sort of know what a marathon is. So I guess that if I'm being completely honest, I do love the longer stuff, the longer, slower stuff, and that's I think purely because the time is irrelevant. You know, no one really bothers you about did you run a sub 4 or sub 3 or it's just a nicer culture. I think you know the longer, particularly the longer trail stuff. No one's really worried about what time you ran. I quite like that attitude as well. So there is an appeal to both of those. Certainly nothing less than a marathon.
Mm. So, what do you think of events like the Barclay?
Well, I mean, Barclays in that's something completely on its own,
It
I
is. But
think.
I mean, you do ultras and you do marathons,
Yeah,
and
but
you're
that's still
just
different. It's still different. I mean, if talk to me about any 100 mile race, even talk to me about Badwater, they're at least within the realms of. I mean, a lot of people would call them
comprehension.
insane. I get that, and I understand that. Particularly when you say running 217 Ks through 50-degree heat, that I
Yeah,
think is for
insane.
most people insane.
Yeah.
Barclays is on its own in
Yeah,
terms of level of insanity. I mean, it ceases that for me, that's not a running event. It's just, I mean, pure endurance. And that despite the best ultra runners in the world, 100 mile ultra runners trying running it. So clearly it is a running event, but it's a standalone on its own, something completely different. It's its own classification.
absolutely. I
So
mean,
I
Jasmine
don't
Paris with what she did, it was just
incredible. I mean the just the physical, mental toughness of people like that. They are on their own in terms of just as humans. I don't think that us mortals really appreciate what it takes to do something like that.
because it's
It's
beyond
incredible.
dedication and it's
It's
beyond
beyond
ability.
beyond
It's
comprehension as far as I'm concerned. And I'm someone that is sort of at least not within touching distance of that, but I can sort of see it on my horizon at least. For most people, it's beyond comprehension. I think.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, we watch it and just
It's
our jaws drop, you know. It terrifies me, like with the orienteering and not having a clear path and at night time and
oh, I
they're
mean, when you see the best 100-mile ultra runners completely broken, then you know it's something unique
absolutely.
because those people are all as hard as nails, and they have the mental toughness and fortitude that most people don't have.
Mm.
Because just a 100-mile race is extreme, but yeah, that's it's another level.
Okay, I'm gonna step back a level. UTMB.
Mm. Yeah, extremely hard,
I
extremely
didn't
hard.
expect it to be easy, Matt.
No, UTMB is again. That's. I mean, UTMB I would put in the same sort of realm as Hard Rock or Leadville, Western States. It's probably slightly easier, maybe. UTMB is probably a notch up in terms of the terrain, elevation, the technical trail, etc. It's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That again is for very, very, very
That is
mentally
not
good.
on the
Not
mat.
just good. That
It's
is
not
not, sorry?
it's not on your mat list.
I wouldn't say that necessarily. Yeah, it
Ooh.
might be. It might be. Yeah. So
Okay.
that is at least within. Yeah, I think we're in the same ballpark. Barclays, no. I mean, I think if you've been to Badwater, and I've been to Western States as well.
You've done some hard stuff. You've
Yeah,
really done hard stuff under extreme conditions.
sure. Yeah, sure. Some interesting ones for sure. UTMB is a big race though.
It
It's a big
is.
race. Yeah, it's a
It's
big commitment.
unrelenting.
I think it's more, I tell you what, I think it's just more about now these days, maybe 10 years ago, 15, absolutely, I would have said, I'd love to. These days, it's the expense, I think it's all about design. I mean, if in order to do a marathon. I think you can fudge a marathon. You can get by with a marathon. To some extent, I think you could also get by with 100K. 100 miles, that's a I mean, you have to really, really want it through your entire being. It's so difficult that it has to be one of your life goals to be able to do it. And I don't think I'm just there anymore. I'm just not as worried about running, or it's not as because running used to be all encompassing. Everything was about running, and now it's not quite like that. And I think it's like being a professional sports person. Unless you're 100% dedicated to whatever that sport is, you won't become a professional sports person. I think the 100-mile races, the difficult 100-mile races, particularly like UTMB, and I think UTMB is a little bit further than 100 miles, you have to really, really want it with your entire being. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
it's not doable.
Yeah. You know who I admire more than the people that do the UTMB is the people who video it because they're running beside true they're not doing the whole thing, but
Yeah,
they're running beside the athletes doing camera work
with camera, yeah, yeah.
with a camera
I
and
often
going
wonder
over the
how they
same
do things.
terrain. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. My hat seriously goes off to those
Well,
people and the people
they're
that do the
probably ultra
MBMEs
runners
too.
themselves as well.
I'm sure they are.
I mean, number one, they'd have to be an ultra runner to be into it, to be there,
Yeah.
but to be able to keep up with some of these people as well. Even though they're doing very long distances, they're still got shift. They're still shifting.
Yeah, and a lot of
So
them
just to
aren't
keep
running
them.
the path. They're running
Mm.
beside the path. So they're running unknown terrain.
The footage is incredible in some of these races.
Oh, unbelievable.
There's a really great running documentary called
Oh, yeah.
Unbreakable about the 2010 Western States race. And there were essentially four unbeaten 100-mile runners taking on. This is super documentary. And some of the footage from there is absolutely incredible. And I just think, wow, the people running alongside these people and taking that footage, they're impressive just as runners on their own without the train, without the camera, etc. It's incredible.
So you're thinking about taking up a new profession of doing the camera work as well?
No, not that's a lot of time and commitment as well.
It definitely is. So, okay, back to our quick fire round. We've done a big detour there.
Hmm.
Toenails. Do you still have them?
Oh, they fall off all the time. Yeah, they fall off. I think I've given up on my toenails at this point. I'm certainly would never go to a mani pedi to get my toes done because I feel so sorry for the people having to do them.
They'll be fainting. If they know, if
Yeah,
they're anything
that's
like
ugly.
Jim's feet, they'll be
It's ugly.
fainting.
Yeah, I'd love to get them removed, I'll be honest, because they're more hassle than no worth. But yeah, they don't look pretty, I'm afraid.
No,
I
keep
think
them there, Matt.
anyone
Keep
who
them there.
runs a lot will probably tell you the same story.
Yep. Okay. Hills or flats? Which do you prefer?
Certainly running flats is easier, but yeah, hills more enjoyable.
Okay.
It's more of a challenge, yeah, for sure.
Do you have a course that is your like dream run that you absolutely love or that you really want to do?
Ooh. I mean, I always have to say the Melbourne Marathon, obviously, but it's not, I've done it so many times, it's not necessarily a dream. But I would always recommend the Melbourne Marathon to someone. Tokyo for the same reasons. But look, if I had to say one course, I would just say Comrades, the Comrades Ultra Marathon in South Africa that
Is that
runs,
because, sorry, you
yeah,
first.
because it runs between Pietermaritzburg and Durban. Just because it's an
Beautiful.
iconic. I mean, it's in the DNA in South Africa. It's part of their culture as a country. So the race, the line, the way the race is lined, the places it takes you through. I think when I'm in my head thinking about distance, I mean, I'm sort of picturing. I'm either picturing segments of the Tan in Melbourne, or segments of the Melbourne Marathon, or segments of Comrades, and that's probably an indicator that it's those courses that have left an impact.
Mm. Well, I mean, being a Melburnian ourselves, um, I mean, the tan and beside the river is just gorgeous.
Mm,
But I mean,
absolutely.
any opportunity that you get to be beside beautiful, majestic scenery, like Durban and like with Cape Town and with all of that area,
Mm.
is just it feels otherworld.
Oh, we're very lucky in Melbourne, in
We
fairness.
are.
I mean, I've lived in quite a few countries, as I mentioned to you, and I've traveled a lot. We're very lucky in Melbourne. It's a great place to live and to run. We've got lots of opportunity, whether it's trail that's close by, or whether it's beach, or whether it's the town or the river, etc. We're as about as lucky as it gets. I'm sure there are lovely and lovelier places to run, I'm sure, but I still think we're very lucky.
Do you prefer even pace or negative splits?
Oh, even pace for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've tried negatives, and think I have had one negative split. I think you have to be a very competent runner beyond my level of competence to pull that off, and it can obviously go horribly wrong if you're trying it. So if when I'm advising new runners, I would always suggest even pace.
What do you say to runners that are hitting a wall? That, you're pacing, you're doing a marathon, you're doing your thing, and
Hmm.
you've got a group of people around you, and you've got people that are struggling. What's the best bit of advice that you give them?
Yeah. Well, number one, that everyone's thinking like that, by the way. Mostly, if I'm a pacer and standing next or running next to someone, I'm just trying to take their mind off it. So I'm just talking about stuff in general. So I'm not particularly trying to say you shouldn't think about this or you should do this or this is. We're just chatting, and I think the best way to get people through that is a distraction. But if we discount that, so if I was talking to someone prior to the race, let's say, or someone going through their training period, is obviously everyone has challenges on the day. There isn't a marathon that's easy
So
or an
even
ultra
you,
marathon.
you have challenges on the day.
Of
Yeah.
course, yeah, of course. I don't think I've ever run a marathon and thought that wasn't hard. They're always hard. Um, I mean, they're even harder as an ultra, of course, but every marathon is hard, and to some extent, I think every run is hard, right? I mean, they're never easy, and it's just that realization: A, you're out here doing it for fun, so enjoy it, even if it's hurting. B, the race is going to be over soon, so enjoy it while you can. The pain will be gone pretty soon, and of course, that everybody is thinking like that. Everybody is challenged. I think most people start to panic that it's only them or that they're going through something that's unusual. Everybody struggles during a marathon. It is a long way to run. I mean, to do any exercise or to do anything full stop for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever the case may be, I think is a challenge, particularly when you're hitting the same muscles, the same joints, etc., with constant repetition and pain. That is a challenge. So just, I guess, making people realize that everybody's going through it, that can help. But mostly I just try and distract people, if I'm being honest.
Oh, good on you for doing that. That's
It's great,
fantastic.
just chatting away. And again, it helps me too if I'm pacing. I mean, just me chatting takes my mind off it too.
Make the
Anything you
chat
can
go
do.
faster. Yeah.
Yeah, look, it's amazing when you go for a social run. It's amazing when you get to the end and think, "Oh God, we were chatting away for an hour there. I didn't even realize we were running," or something to that effect, right? Any distraction, I think, is really positive. Not distraction in that don't want to forget you're running, because you should enjoy the
Yeah,
fact
of
that you're out
course.
running. But yeah, just to take your mind off the
The
things that
pain.
might be hurting. Yeah, yeah. Because some things always hurt. I remember people always ask me, well, have you got injuries or if you've got this or this? I can't remember the last time something wasn't hurting during a run. I don't think I've ever had a completely niggle-free or pain-free run. Something is always tweaking here and there. That's just a part of being my age and being into running. And just being able to deal with that, I think, is a big part of it.
But I think that's a wonderful thing about running is that it's so rejuvenating in so many ways.
Absolutely.
I
Certainly
mean, you look
mentally.
at, yeah, but also physically. I was
Mm.
looking at some Japanese runners and they were in their 90s, and you'd swear that they're only in their 60s. So there's something very
Well, I'm
rejuvenating about the
73, so yeah,
cell.
you're right.
Well, you're doing very, very well.
Look, it has such a long tail. I mean, anyone that's read Born to Run will know that they talk about how that particularly long distance running has a very long tail, in that you can be in your 50s and 60s and still be competing with an 18-year-old, which you probably couldn't say of almost any other sport.
No, that's
So
right.
there is something about distance or endurance sport that means you can still do it into your later years, let's say. I
Mm.
mean, there are Melbourne Marathon legends, Spartan legends who've done every Melbourne
Yes,
Marathon that are in their 70s and are still running excellent times.
they
It's just,
really are. They
yeah,
really are.
genuinely, it's incredible.
So you're a member of the Spartans, right?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So is is your journey from when you started with the Spartans to now any different, or is it the same? Does it have the same spirit about it that you still have that enthusiasm and drive and still trying to achieve your own PB?
Yeah, not in terms of PBs anymore. I'm probably past the age and dedication and drive for PBs. But certainly, in thinking about being connected to the Spartans, that hasn't changed. I still feel that I want to be connected to them and still want to take part in the Melbourne Marathon as a result. So, specifically about the Spartans in Melbourne, that hasn't really changed that much. My overall philosophy in terms of my focus on running has probably evolved over the years. I'm less caught up in running. I don't talk about running as much. It doesn't impact me quite as much if I have to take a day off or if I have to DNF in a race, for example. That I think that has changed a bit over the years. I don't worry as much about times or et cetera, et cetera. So that has evolved. But I still enjoy running as much as I used to
It
right
sounds
at the
like your
start.
sense of joy has actually increased in
It's
the
never
sport.
changed for sure. Yeah, it's never.
Yeah,
It's. I still feel inside me that I owe running every debt of gratitude that I could. Just in terms of my certainly physical health, but mental health and how I feel about being alive in general. I feel I owe a lot to running, and I don't think that has ever dulled in all of
that's
the time.
that's brilliant.
Mm,
That's a fantastic endorsement.
mm.
How do you look after your knees?
I've never had a problem, funnily enough.
Oh, you
Strange.
bastard.
Everybody asks that. Everybody. I've never had knee issues. I don't know why. I don't know if I've done anything. I think it's just luck and genetics, right? You can be very lucky, or you can just fall off the side of the pavement and hurt a knee, and it can
So
be
true.
be buggered for life. So a lot of it is luck. I do focus one training session every week. I focus on technique. So I have the mantra going through my head about running tall, about being light, being easy, being smooth. So I do still, even despite running for so many years, I still focus on technique, so that it's just muscle memory. That might be a factor. I don't know, but for whatever reason, I've just never had any knee issues at all, or joint or ankle or hip issues, which tend to be
Wow.
the problem so far, at least.
You're the poster boy.
It's just lucky. It's genuinely just lucky.
I'm sure it's more than that, but let's see
But
if
who
we can
knows, right?
find.
Yeah, who knows, right? It's like speaking to, someone who's just turned 100 and you found out they've been drinking and smoking for 50 years.
I know, right?
You never know what's in someone's genes or what can go wrong and what luck or not, misfortune they've had. I don't know, but for whatever reason, I've never had bad knees.
Okay, so when you're saying you're focused on running smooth and tall and smoothly and everything, are we talking track work or are we talking just your
God,
normal run
track work.
and
God forbid.
there's a no track work boy. Okay.
I did during COVID. I had to because it's basically the only place I could run during COVID. But generally, I don't. I'll be honest. I'm not great at pushing myself very hard. Since hitting sub 3, I've never been worried as much about time. So,
You found a
just that
comfortable spot.
I just want to go out and run, enjoy running. So I don't push really. I'm a very lazy runner for things like that. So yeah, just the idea of running around a track. So these people who do 24-hour track races, just that sounds like torture. I've run marathons around a track. It's torturous.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it's
okay.
it's just not for me. For
I'm
me,
with you there.
running is all about enjoyment. It's all about being outside, just getting away from the world, enjoying life. It's almost meditative. And yeah, just track doesn't go hand in hand with that. So no, I don't. I'm not a big fan of track. I understand the benefits of track and speed work. If you want to improve, absolutely, that's what you should do. It's just not for me, I'm afraid.
Okay, so me asking you about fartleks are not going
Oh,
to. Mana fartleks, no? Not a fan?
I mean, I've done fartleks, of course, and I would recommend them to people who are trying to go for a goal or a time or improve their running overall. Absolutely. It's just now, and I used to do them. Now I'm just on the other side of that hill, I think, where the idea of breaking myself in a training session yeah, I think I'm just past that a little bit. That's all.
Okay,
But I
that's
would certainly recommend them,
okay. Okay, that's good to know.
but
Not
they're
for
not fun.
you, but for everyone else.
Then absolutely do it. Do as I say, not as I do.
Okay, another quick fire. Race day and gear. What's
Mm.
in your kit for race day?
Music, I would say. Obviously,
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
if you get past running shoes and running short,
Yeah,
obviously,
no, music really important.
music. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's the one thing I do. I mean, there are certain races where you can't wear music or where you can't wear earphones, where they don't allow you.
Do you do
Um,
the shocks or do you do like the cans or what do you do?
no, this is my thing. I still really love the very old iPod shuffles, the very
Okay.
small
Yeah,
square
the little
iPod
cube.
shuffles,
Yeah, yeah, I
the
know the
little
ones you mean.
cube that you
They are,
clip
they're
onto.
great.
It's for lots of reasons. Number one, they last a long time, so they've got a great battery life. If you're doing an ultra marathon and you need something that lasts 12 hours or longer, perfect. Because I never run with a phone. My one thing is I never want to run with a phone. So I don't, not with training, not in races, unless it's absolutely mandatory. But certainly I won't have the phone on or I won't be
Is that
connected to the phone in any way.
i- is that because of the weight? Because it throws your body mechanics out, or is it
No, it's just
because
because I don't want to be connected to the phone. I mean, one of the main
okay.
reasons I go running is to get away from the bloody thing because we're always on them.
Yeah.
So I mean, one of my ways is just to get away from it. So I don't want to be connected to it. I don't particularly like it when people I'm running with have their phone. I mean, I won't say anything, but I'll be honest, I don't really like it. Um, so the little iPod is just
Mhm.
great because it lasts forever, and it's very light. Plus, of course, if you're going for long runs and you have your phone in your watch, let's say, that means you've got
Mhm.
means you've got wireless earbuds. They don't last long enough either. The battery life
No.
on those is not long enough. So it's more around. It's just very light, practical, lasts a long time, and I can get away from the phone.
It's
But
so hard.
music is
Yeah, music is so important. Sorry, I cut you off there.
no. I was going to at some point I'm going to have to take my dog out. I might have to do a little pause at some
Okay,
point, just
no
just to let
problem.
you know he's
Okay,
starting to get antsy.
okay. Well, we can wrap it up.
And we can,
Okay.
yeah, we can also continue at some point as well.
Oh, okay, cool. Any other gear that you've sworn off?
Sworn off.
So with no phones. That's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm definitely that's my big one, I think. And
Okay.
friends that I run with, they know. I've just got this English thing. Running should be about, and this is just my philosophy, right? People should do whatever is good for them, and I'm perfectly well. That's you do you, as they say.
Mm.
My philosophy is running should be about running and enjoyment. It shouldn't be about Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever. So I just don't like phones. I don't like people recording or photo. If you go with a running group, mostly it seems to be about a photo shoot with some runs in between these days,
Mm,
rather
yeah,
than about just
the
being out and
run.
enjoying running. So it's just built up over the years. It's my quirk. It's not, and I realize I am in the absolute minority with that philosophy and belief. That's fine. So I just love to get away from the phone. I
No,
mean,
it's
comes back to
very
what I was
good.
saying before about it's when we talked right at the start about why I started running in the first place and getting away from people and HR and all that sort of thing. It's the same sort of. It's just an extension of that. It's getting away from the phone. It's getting away from connections. It's just being out doing. For me, it's as I say, it's restorative and it's meditative. And being away from the phone is absolutely part of that.
Mm. Yeah, I can see that it would be very good for your mental health, just to be
Just
able to switch
disconnecting.
off
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
knowing, you know,
We
and
should all do more of it, I think. We're
so
all
hard to do these
too
days.
connected. Oh, it is. It is absolutely. As we say, talking over Zoom.
Exactly. We won't look at the irony there.
Mm.
What's your race day morning look like?
Oh, yeah, good question. I mean, it depends where I am, obviously, as in if
So
it's
we're doing
if
the Melbourne Mara.
Melbourne Marathon is probably the best example. Absolutely. So I always get up 2 hours, 2.5 hours before to have a breakfast, and I always have breakfast roughly 2 hours before race time. And then I just sort of relax. I always walk to Melbourne Marathon. So I live within walking distance, 23K walk. So I like
Nice.
to relax and take a slow walk there. I'll sip
You walk
generally
23 kilometers as a nice, gentle warm up.
3Ks, not
Oh,
23Ks.
I thought you said
3Ks.
23
No, no,
Ks. And I'm
I
thinking
wouldn't walk
that's
23. Three. I'm only 3Ks from the start line. So
oh nice.
it's a lovely way to start the race, as in the race morning, because I know what time I have to leave. I know I'm going to be there. So there's no stress. My goal is always to make the morning as stress-free as possible. So I've put the kit out the night before, everything's ready to go. Um, I have my routine. So it's always about making it as stress-free as possible. I just walk there. I sip a Gatorade or some electrolyte drink, and generally just sips on the way there. And that's my warm up, ready to go. I'll take a gel, 5, 10 minutes before the race, and away we go.
Sounds fantastic. And do you have any superstitions or rituals that you do?
I don't. Yeah, yeah. I'm a very,
Straight down the
very
line. We're just all about
science
the joy.
focused. Yeah, for me, running is all about enjoying running. Absolutely. It should be, again, as I said before, none of us are doing this professionally, or I assume most of us are not doing it professionally. So it should always be about enjoying it. I mean, we're paying for the privilege of running mostly. If we're doing an event, we're paying for it. So it should always be about running. And for me, being honest, even though I've done so many events, it's more about the running in general. The events are a way to help you, for me at least, they're a way to stay motivated sometimes for the actual running itself. But it's always about the journey, not about the event.
I heard a wonderful saying that you're really earning the medal in the training rather than,
Absolutely.
you're just formalizing it on race day.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It should be about the journey. The journey's the fun part at
Mm.
the end. It's the hard part, of course, and the medal is the confirmation of that, but it should be about the journey. I mean, the joy I've seen, and I get personally, I've seen a new runner, a non-runner, go from couch to 5K and then on to 10K and on to their half marathon and then on to their marathon, hopefully. That's an incredible journey to go on. And it should and does change people's lives. It certainly changed my life. I think it should be about the journey and what that running brings to you and the rest of your life, not just about the running, but about the rest, all of your life.
Mm. So I know your time's limited, so we'll do a final
And
few
we can do
questions.
another one, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Just we can do another day
Yeah,
as well.
we'll
Sure,
definitely do a follow-up on this. Don't
sure, sure.
worry. I'm loving this chat.
Well,
So what
there's a lot more detail. I'm sure we can go into. I mean, bad water on its own is a discussion, but there's lots of stuff.
I told you there'll be lots of things that people will be interested in chatting to
Oh, I
you.
don't know if anyone's going to be interested.
I know
It's
they're
still
going
good to
to
chat
be.
to you about it anyway.
Absolutely. We don't need this to chat, but it's always good. What's the best bit of advice that someone gave you when you were starting out, you're on your journey and you're hitting a wall? What was the best bit of advice someone gave you?
That's a good question. I would actually say just number one, I think to start running, full stop. I mean, the best thing anyone has ever told me was to suggest actually maybe I'd like to try running because as I mentioned before, I was looking for that thing.
You're looking for
Um,
something.
I was looking for something. I was finding I had mood swings, sort of, in coping with work, in coping with life in general. I certainly found I had my ups and downs. So I was sort of looking for ways to to improve myself or not to struggle as much, and tried a few different things, but got into running. And of course, it's difficult to get into running. You start with run, walk, and a bit more running, and maybe with run with friends, so it's more sociable, etc. When I actually really got into running, I found all of that mood swings disappeared. So I was able to cope with things that I never used to be able to cope with, things that I used to find a struggle, or they would, I would be involved in a situation at work or in life, and it would be hard. All of a sudden, that washed over me a little bit. That was, yeah, this is fine. I can cope with that. And whether that's because you cope with things in marathons or ultra marathons and makes you mentally stronger, I don't know. I think it's more just about the chemicals in your body, probably endorphins. So actually, to start running was probably a really good tip in general.
Mm.
And maybe also that just to remember, no one else really cares about it. It doesn't matter about your times. It doesn't matter how many marathons you've run. No, this is for you. And remember, it shouldn't be about Instagram necessarily, or it shouldn't be. No one else cares. Do it for you. Don't do it for other people. It can give you so much that you should do it for you. I think that's probably someone told me one day, don't worry about what other people think. That's not why you go running. And I think that's true.
Yeah, I'll agree with it. I mean, I remember um, with with the last, I think it was the Boston Marathon. I think, no, I'm going to talk off the cuff here because I can't remember the exact details. I think it was Nike put out an advertisement that was specifically in Boston and said um, something along the lines of "Walkers welcome." But they weren't
Absolutely.
really, and it's like, well, okay, it didn't resonate well with the community
Oh,
because it
really?
felt like pace shaming.
Yeah,
And
okay.
that's the one thing that I love about the whole journey with the running community is that everyone's running their own race. Everyone's got their own battles, but everyone's being supportive of each
Mm,
other. I know when Jim was out on course with the Great Ocean Road because he was recovering from a cartilage injury, right?
mhm.
And he ran the whole Gorf on it, and he was struggling. He had some moments where he was really struggling with it. And the number of people that came up to him and said, "Look, would you like a gel? Do you want me to walk with you?" And, just all of these amazing stories that went on behind the scenes that will be lost to history was
Yeah.
is just one of those things that I think makes the running community the best in the world.
Look, it should be about that, right? I
Mm,
mean, again, we're not professionals. We're doing this for fun. You should be in it together.
yeah.
It's definitely about that. And I think when you find that, and not everybody does find that in running, I get that.
Mm,
But when you find that, I think you get a lot more out of it.
yeah. Well, I'm going to leave it there, Matt. Thank you so, so much for your
No, you're
time.
more than
And
welcome. It's been lovely to
it
chat.
it's been wonderful to chat with you too. If people want to reach out and say hello to you, how should they do that?
Yeah, don't use social media. You may have got that from the
You're
chat we've
saying
had
that
so far.
you saying that you appreciate active stalking. Okay.
What I would say
You can
is
find Matt at.
join me on a run. And
Okay.
I don't care what pace. I don't care as long as we're outside and jogging. That's good enough.
Okay. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Matt. We
No
might
worries. Happy
join
to
you
do it
for a
again.
run
Yeah,
next
do. I
time.
look forward to it, and I'll see you at an event very soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely for Shepparton, if not
Cool.
sooner.
Yeah,
Have
absolutely.
a
Oh, yes. That's a good race, by the way. That's a good one.
Ooh, okay. So if you're watching this and you haven't signed up for Shepparton, come along to Shepparton. You can meet Matt.
It's a nice event.
Yeah, sounds fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Matt.
No, anytime at all.
We'll
I'll
see you
speak to you
again
soon.
soon.
All
Okay.
right. Bye now.
Bye.